Hi, I'm Peter and today I'm at Wellhouse to take a closer look at the Honda Elysian, which is one of the latest conversions that Wellhouse are going to start building on. Now this particular example is a 2004, it's a 3 litre V6 petrol automatic. They will be doing them on other models and engine sizes. But let's take a closer look at this particular one and run through all the features on this conversion. We'll just pop the roof first. Electric doors on this particular model, always a nice touch. Makes it very easy to live with on a campsite. You won't disturb others with doors clonging. So as with all Wellhouse conversions, releasing the roof involves pulling the straps through. Oh, it's just got a tangle in it. So just pull it through there. Don't pull it all the way through. Just leave a loop. Saves you having to re-thread it later. And then just pop it up. Always have a door open when you're lifting a roof so that the air can come in and replace the displaced air when the roof goes up. If you try and open the roof with the door shut, you get kind of a suction effect and it won't go up. So with the pop top up, there's quite a lot of space up here. I can stand up fine in all areas of the cab. So I don't think, I'm over 6 foot, so I don't think you'll have any issues with height. Above the cab, there's a useful shelf, great for chucking your bedding or clothing or anything else you want to get out of the way when you're on a campsite. At the front, might get dazzled by the Yorkshire sun now. Oh! At the front, there's a clear vinyl window, a PVC, sorry, and to the sides, you've got a mesh fly screen on both sides, so that gives you cross ventilation, so you get a bit of cooling air blowing through in summer. It's winter at the moment, it's freezing cold, and I'm very glad that these are silverized because they are retaining a bit of heat, particularly the front one. That's pleasant. So I think you could use this all year round. You might want to add an insulation screen to the exterior, which are widely available online, or Wellhouse probably sell them. That will add a bit of extra insulation. But yeah, a nice usable roof space. You can also opt for a child bed up here if you need it, and I think it could be quite useful with the 2 rear travel seats. Up top, you'll notice it has a solar panel fitted as standard, so that's very useful, particularly in summer. Well, it's definitely quite a handsome vehicle with the roof up, as I'm sure you'll agree, and I quite like the front end. It's quite sleek, the way they've styled it. It looks a bit like the Accords. Now this particular one is a 2004 model. They will be building on newer versions, and as I mentioned before, this one's got the 3 litre V6 automatic. That's 250 horsepower, and it's also got VTEC variable valve technology, which is it's a Honda staple. And if you know anything about motorsport, they're renowned for being a superb engine. You can also get a 160 horsepower 2.4 litre engine, and whichever engine you go for, again that's a petrol, whichever engine you go for, you also get a 5-speed super smooth automatic gearbox. All Japanese vehicles come with automatics. It's a big plus compared to European vehicles where it tends to be an expensive option and not easy to find. So yeah, big plus the auto. So let's look at the interior in a bit more detail. So with the passenger seat swiveled, you can see it creates quite a pleasant lounge area. So to swivel the seat, on this particular one, it has this useful centre storage console, various bits and pieces in it, and you just rotate this latch here and it drops down, and then if we come beneath the seat, we release this latch like so, and then the seat can swivel. You might need to move it forwards and back a little bit, but it will swivel. It's a pleasantly sociable lounge too. As you can see, it retains some of the original roof lining and air vents and lighting, and there's also a useful grab handle over there. This particular one has been finished in a cream fabric to match the cream leather seats of the interior, but obviously there are lots of different options when it comes to picking the fabrics and the interior boards. Very pleasant silver finish on this particular one, and as you can see under the overcarpet, we've got a nice vinyl floor. One of the things I really like about the Elysian is it's such a compact vehicle, yet it has genuine campervan capabilities. It's only 4.9 metres long, but despite that, you get two proper seats for the rear travel seat. That forms a bed. I'll show you that in a bit. And my favourite feature is that the lounge seat created when you swivel the passenger seat round, it's got a great armrest on this side, really comfortable, great for lounging. I think this is going to be the top choice amongst campers. It's quite low down as well, so if you're quite short, there's no danger of your legs dangling. I know that is an issue for some people. I don't have that issue, but I like being able to slouch in this seat, so it works for everyone. Really nice, clean layout, as you'd expect of Wellhouse. So let's take a closer look at some of the features and bits and pieces you get included as standard. Well, for starters, down here, 25 litre Vitrifrigo compressor fridge. This one's brand new. We've still got the instructions in it. It's a handy size given the size of vehicle, and really elevates it over something like an SUV where you obviously don't have that sort of functionality. Down here, we've got a nice deep locker. That's for your chemical loo. You could also use it for crockery, pots and pans. You don't want to fit a chemical loo. It's a nice deep locker as well. It's very wide, so you could use it for other things. And I think you can fit some stuff alongside your loo, perhaps in a plastic storage tub. So good use of space. Above it, we've got a storage drawer. It's always good to have a cutlery drawer near to the hob and the worktop where you're going to use it. Over here, again, another storage locker. This one's under the sink, but it's still quite deep and there's quite a bit of space in there, so useful. Positive locking catches on all these cabinets too, so they're not going to come open in transit. One thing I have noticed, it's one of those subtle things that's not immediately obvious. If I just pop this light switch on, I don't know if you can see, there's an underglow beneath the worktop and also at the bottom of the cabinet. It gives it an impression of floating at night. Very nice effect, and it gives you very subtle night lighting. Also new on the Elysian, you've got this Wellhouse single burner hob. So just the single burner, because they figure that's what most people actually use. All the controls are here, so nice and intuitive. And it's quite a deep sink. And obviously the tap lifts up, cold water, I don't think it's hooked up. So cold water sink and tap, really good. And obviously that all folds neatly down. Now the control panel on the Elysian is quite intuitive, so just pop on the master control panel, you can see everything lights up. This control down here is for your fridge, and then these two are for various lighting functions. I'll leave those on.
press that, presses your water pump on. I can hear it buzzing. That's the roof lights. And then this one here indicates the voltage of the vehicle battery, which is a bit low, and the leisure battery, which is in the green and absolutely fine. So that's what that does. And then up here, we've got blown air heating fitted as standard. Nice and simple to use. I think you just push it on with the fan button. You can see it glowing. I'll switch it off. I'll switch it off, I don't want to have that running. Naturally, you've got your USB point. There's two 5 volt, 2.1 amp sockets at the top, and a mains plug. Obviously, this mains plug will only work when you're plugged into a mains hookup, unless you've opted to have an inverter system fitted. So the bed system, you start off by unscrewing this knob. Just pop it down there out of the way. Grab this lever and pull the whole bed system forward. Oh, it went with a bang. And it simply drops down in place. Now I'll just take my shoes off for once and go on the bed, breathing in heavily. Now the bed itself is a really good size. It's certainly 6 foot long and it's quite wide. There's plenty of space on both sides of it. So I think they've struck a good balance. It's always a balance between the width of the bed and rear travel seat versus the width of the storage cabinets. Obviously the cabinets have to be a certain width. You've got to get the depth of the fridge in, depth of the hob in on the worktop, but some people build them a bit further out, some people build them a bit further back. I think they've struck the perfect balance on this one. It works well. There's a good amount of space. Bed itself, nice and soft. You could have a mattress topper if you wanted. Does it need it? It's slightly on the firmer side, but it's very flat. I think it's optional. Personally, I think I'd probably do without it. Just that if you're having a sleeping bag or perhaps a duvet on top of it, I don't think you'll need a mattress topper, and it just takes up extra bulk because this is quite a compact vehicle still, so I don't think I'd bother. Feels quite spacious, which is very impressive given that it's only a 4.9 metre long vehicle. I'll put the exact dimensions on screen so that you're aware of it. The height as well, I must mention before I forget, it's under 2 metres, so it will go under 2 metre height barriers with the roof fitted, which can be quite important for many people. If you're thinking of using it as a daily driver, that might be a key consideration. In here, we've got behind this tambored storage door, down here, storage locker, quite deep, and I think it has a mysterious hole in it, so it must lift up to access something. It's probably over the wheel arch though, so there's not going to be any storage space under there. Up top, we've got the Sergeant mains consumer unit and fuse box. So if a fuse pops in the night, well, it couldn't really be much easier to get to things. So quite handy. You've got some additional fuses on the wall here and a solar regulator. So everything's close at hand should you need to replace anything. Okay, to pop the bed back up, just grab the seat belts, take a bit of slack out of them. So put your hand between the backrests and just lift it up. This one's still quite stiff with it being new, but they do ease up on use. Obviously on this particular one, you've got 2 travel seats with headrests, and I've noticed that the seatbelt latches just rotate up and down. So at night time they push out the way, and then when you need to use them, obviously they simply click in. So yeah, 2 travel seats, so you've got 4 travel seats in total, including the 2 cab seats. One thing I do like as well down here, got a little storage tray, that'd be good for a mobile phone at night time, and a cup holder, so you can use that on the road or at night time with the bed made up. Great for your cup of tea. Now, usefully, below the bed, I've also noted there's an additional storage locker. So that allows you to load through from the boot and just gives you a bit more flexibility. So longer things, perhaps skis, perhaps fishing rods will fit through there, no problem. It's quite a modern design, the Elysian, and this particular one is a 2004 model, but it still has quite stylish wraparound lights, bit of curve to it, a nice style. And look at this trim detail at the top, which is a lighting strip. Very funky, quite very Japanese and a bit more interesting on the design front. So let's have a look what we've got in here. So as you can see, they've got the rear section of the bed. There's quite a deep storage space underneath. I've just got my camera bits and pieces scattered around in it, but there's plenty of space there for touring kit. I think I'd put some outdoor chairs down there. That would be a good place for them. Over here, behind this tambour door locker, we've got the sealed LPG gas locker. So you'll need a special key to access that, and the metal box inside is sealed, so there's no danger of gas escaping if there's a leak. There's also a dropout vent, which is very important. Always look for that on van conversions. To comply with all the rules, it must have one fitted. So that's your gas locker down there. Your water fill point, I'll just unscrew this, is located here. Oh, that's nice. It's got a chain attached to it so you don't drop it in the mud. Been there, done that. Up top there's another storage locker, and interestingly there's an unscrewable hatch, and if you unscrew it, all it does is give you access to the connection point for the water fill. So they thought about servicing and maintenance down the line, which is good to know. I think I'd probably put my mains hookup cable in there, or there's a little slot down here it could fit into quite nicely. I'll just pop the water tank cap back on. But yeah, nice, practical, good layout. So one thing I've been dying to know is what's it like to drive. So let's find out. It's the first time I've driven the Elysian, and first impressions are the engine is silky smooth. The gearbox, it's a 5-speed automatic, delight, really nice gearbox. Hondas are always renowned for being beautifully engineered, probably one of the best out of all the Japanese brands, and certainly this one's no exception. So this one's the 250 horsepower V6 model, so I'll just give it a little bit of kick down, see what it's like. Ooh, it's quite nippy. Brakes are nice and smooth and progressive, no great issues with anything. First impressions, very pleasing to drive. I don't think you're going to have any issues with it. Very car-like. The seating position's quite low, so it gives a unusually car-like driving position. I think that's where this vehicle really is going to do well. If it's going to replace a family vehicle as a main car, you can definitely use this as a daily driver without any real issues. Now, I can't show you too much about the interior. They're still working on this particular one, and they're still sorting out a few issues with things like the UK radio system. So this one's not yet finished on the inside. I'll just switch that off. But what I can tell you, lovely clear instruments. Everything is where you expect it to be, and it has a raft of features as standard. It's got air conditioning. I think it's climate control actually. Yeah, it's climate control on this particular one. You've got separate controls, even on this 2004 model, for passenger and driver. Electric mirrors, they also fold, which is my favourite feature. All electric windows. This particular one's got electric sliding doors to the sides as well, and a really complicated looking sat-nav system in the centre, which is it's got all Japanese writing on it, so I'm not sure if that will stay or they'll be able to fit a UK map to that. It'll probably have a separate system, I would have thought, because Japanese radio stations, broadcast on a different frequency to European ones, so it's not a lot of use to you over here anyway. But it's already got a reversing camera built in, so I'm sure that can be linked to whatever new multimedia system they fit to it. First impressions then, great to drive, good driving position, great visibility, nice clear controls, everything's where you expect it to be. Typical Honda really. So yeah, a lot to love here.